Hello, good people. This is Immigration Attorney LaToya McBean of the Law Office of LaToya and McBean. It is my goal today to provide you with information that protects your future. So here we go. On February 20th, 2017, the Department of Homeland Security issued a couple of memos that speak about how the department plans on implementing the President's immigration executive orders. And so one memo called Implementing the President's Border Security and Immigration Enforcement Improvements Policies speak to this one question that we will address in this video today. And that one question is, when and under what circumstances will DHS release people who they have arrested, detained, or apprehended? When will they actually release these people, and under what circumstances, I should say? Okay, so before we answer those questions, I want to talk about the policy rationales that this memo puts forward in support of why the government is doing what it's doing, why it's taken such aggressive actions against documented and undocumented immigrants. So the memo says that in November of 2016, nearly 50,000 people were apprehended at the borders who were inadmissible for one reason or another. They did not have a visa or travel document or any other proof to show that the U.S. border agents should allow them to enter our country. In October, again, nearly 50,000 people showed up in that month who were inadmissible. Okay, now the memo also talks about our immigration court system and the fact that there is a significant backlog of over 500,000 cases pending in immigration court. And so the system cannot sustain itself if more aggressive actions were not taken. Now, these are the arguments that are being advanced in this memo, in addition to, of course, the overarching argument of national security and public safety. I'm an immigrant, and chances are you are an immigrant as well. And the immigrants who I know, immigrants in my world, are good, law-abiding people. And so when you have very broad policies that captures good people, law-abiding people, people with green cards, people who are here solely for the purpose of moving forward with their lives of economic prosperity and to help to build this country, when you advance policies that target those people, I have a problem with that. And I think that we need to confront those issues from an advocacy standpoint. Okay, now here's what the memo has to say about when or under what circumstances will DHS release people who they have detained. Okay, so firstly, DHS will release people who are being deported or removed, obviously. Right? So these are people who, because of a statute or a regulation, these people are facing deportation. They're eligible for it. And so DHS is happy to release them back to their country. Okay, DHS will also release people who are protected by either a court order or some sort of relief from the court, or they have a protection status such as temporary protection status, or they may have a visa such as a student visa or a work visa, or they have a green card, or they're a refugee or an asylee. So essentially DHS is saying that when they detain these people and they discover that they have these types of protected or lawful status in our country, they will release them, according to this memo. Thirdly, DHS will release people who have applied for admission to the U.S. who then say, actually, I'd like to withdraw my application and I'd like to go back to my country. DHS is happy to allow them to leave. Okay. Fourthly, DHS will release people who, again, there's a court order or a settlement agreement from some administrative agency or, again, the court that says these people need to be released or that person needs to be released. DHS will comply with those orders. Fifthly, DHS will release people who they are granted parole to. Now, parole in an immigration context means this is the discretion that DHS will exercise or use to allow people to enter the country temporarily for a humanitarian purpose, such as a medical emergency, if someone is coming here for some sort of medical treatment, or if the person is coming here to be reunited with a family member. Again, but there are very specific circumstances in which they will allow that to happen. Okay, and then thirdly, if these are people who are or for some significant public benefit. They're coming here for some significant public benefit. DHS will allow them to enter temporarily by granting them parole so that they may do what it is that they have come here to do on a humanitarian basis. Okay, now last, DHS will remove people who they catch at the border who are then placed in an expedited removal process. Expedited removal is something that I talked about very recently in a Facebook post because it is being expanded and it is a very significant issue. Please read that post and learn about expedited removal. And essentially what that means is that people will be deported outside of court. They will not have their day in court before a judge. They will be immediately return to their country. And so in this context, DHS says that they will release people who are in expedited removal who then show a credible fear of being persecuted back in their home country. And so DHS will release them on U.S. soil and allow them to apply for asylum in our country. Those are the reasons, those are the basis, I should say, in which DHS will release people if they are detained and or arrested. So understand your rights, understand what changes are happening, get your status straightened out, make it the number one goal, the number one thing, your number one priority. Get it straightened out, work with an immigration attorney, give me a call, let's talk about your issue. I'm great to work with you, you'll really enjoy working with me, and let's see what remedy is available for you under the law. And as time goes on, I'm actually going to do more videos to dissect these memos so that you understand what else they have to say, because they say a lot. Okay, so now you know this one, you know the circumstances in which DHS will release people who they have detained, arrested. These are people who are now, based on these guidelines, these are the people who will be released. Okay, so I hope this is helpful to you. If you have any questions about this video or if you have questions about your status, give me a call, 718-301-9732, and I am happy to work with you, and I'm happy to walk with you during this difficult time in our country's history. Okay, thank you.